Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. So, we are focusing on IELTS speaking in this live stream, and we're going to focus on IELTS speaking part 2. So, each week I just cover one part of the IELTS speaking test. Last week was part 1, this week is part 2, and next week I'm actually taking next week and the week after off. There will be no live streams next week or the week after. I'm taking a break for Christmas, a little break for myself. It's been a while, so I'm looking forward to that. There are more live streams the rest of this week, and I'll be back in January with more live streams. Okay, I'm gone off track already. Sorry. Okay, so this live stream is for IELTS speaking part 2. And what I'll do is I'll get some students to come and join me here live. I'll show them a part 2 cue card. They will answer the question, and then I will give them feedback based on their answer. So that's what we're doing. This is solely for me to give feedback to students, and you can learn from the mistakes that the student makes, the advice that I give, the types of things that I suggest. So you'll be able to learn whether you participate or not. But if you're not participating, do feel free to ask any questions you have and to comment as well. So the fact that today's live stream or this live stream is to give students feedback, I want to share some IELTS speaking lessons with you so that you do know how to approach the IELTS speaking test and you do know how to improve your scores. So if you just check in the comments there, you'll see this complete IELTS speaking guide. Click on that link and that will show you what you need to know about how to approach the IELTS speaking test, how to improve your scores. Then this lesson is focused just on giving feedback. Hey, Jervin, good to see you here. You got in early today. Hey, Saru. And Sarwa's back. Good to see you here, Sarwa. Hi, Myra. And Medhat is here again. Great. And Mahi. Brilliant. Okay. So like I said, this lesson, you're going to come and join me live in here. So let me share that link with you. Hey, Kezi. Welcome to the lesson. Okay, let me just get this link here quickly. Call it link to join me live. So hopefully that's clear enough. And click on that link. You can come in here and join me. Please, if you're joining me, have pen and paper ready because it's part 2. And also have your camera turned on. Hi, Maha. Welcome to the lesson. Right. So for speaking part 2, you'll be given a cue card and then you have 1 minute to make notes. After that 1 minute, you need to speak for 2 minutes unassisted. So the examiner is not going to ask you any questions or prompt you or help you. So just focus on getting through the full 2 minutes. And with the 1 minute that you have for making notes, here's what I'd recommend. So let me just show you what a cue card looks like first of all. So this is what it looks like. And where most candidates end up, what most candidates end up doing with the 1 minute is they make notes based on this cue card. So they write down when they read it, what kind of book it is, what it was about. But I don't see the point in making notes about these things because you're going to have the cue card in front of you while you're speaking. So I don't see a good reason to make notes when you can just look at the cue card to remind you what to say. But what happens to most IELTS candidates is they get to about 1.5 minutes. They've said everything that they want to say about the cue card, and then they have nothing left to say after that. So it gets to 1.5 minutes, and then they either go silent or they start repeating themselves, they start to stutter, and it doesn't help the score. So instead of making notes on the answers to the cue card, what you can do is consider how you would change it. So if you're talking about a book, how would you change the book? Or you can say something you didn't like about it. Or you could say if you would recommend it to other people or what type of people you would recommend it to. And then, something about the future. You could say, do you think you'll read it again? Do you think you would buy it as a present for someone else? Anything. As long as you stay on topic, that's completely fine. So when you're making notes, don't focus on making notes for the cue card. Focus on making notes for what you will say once you've said everything you have to say about the cue card. Hi, Edmund. Welcome to the lesson. And Princess, good evening to you, Turl. Good evening to you too. Pierre, hello there. Okay, so we'll just wait for someone to come and join me, and then we can get started on giving feedback. While I'm waiting, I have some more stuff I can share with you. So obviously in this lesson, we're just focusing on part 2. So it's a shorter snippet. It's more difficult for me to give an accurate score to someone based on just a part 2. But I do have full practice IELTS speaking tests. So that's a one-on-one service that I offer. And I also have group classes, free group classes on Zoom. So while we're waiting, let me share that with you there. Okay. So if you'd like a full one-on-one practice speaking test with me, you'll find that on that. You'll find that service with that link. But also, if you would like to join my free group classes on Zoom, those are called the live feedback lessons. You can access those there as well. Sarah, I'm doing good. Thank you. Doing good. When is the Zoom? So the Zooms at the moment are Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So Tuesday is speaking, but that was earlier today, so that one's already over. And then Wednesday is either general training or academic task 1. So task 1 every Wednesday and task 2 every Friday. But click on the link and sign up. You'll see the specific times. It's easier to communicate the times because I have a link that will show you the time in your time zone. So, you know, if I tell you what time it is for me, it doesn't really help you to, you know, see what time it is for you. I'm glad to have you here. Good to see you, Dad. My WhatsApp number. I don't have a WhatsApp number. I see a lot of IELTS people, I guess. Whatever I am, IELTS people. Well, I'm an IELTS teacher, but basically what I see is scammers, scammers trying to get people to buy like fake IELTS certificates. I see a lot of those people using WhatsApp numbers. That's the only time I've ever seen anybody do that. Anyway, I don't have one, Nadeem. I don't have one. Sova, I see you in here with me, but could you just turn on your camera, please? And then I'll get you in here and we'll get started on your task 2. Hey, Sova. Sova. Sova was actually in my live feedback lesson earlier today. Okay, Sova, let's get you in here. Hello again. You're muted at the moment, Sova.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Everything going okay since I talked to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. All right, let me pull up your question. What you're doing anyway. You have your pen and paper ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me show you the question here. I'd like you to describe a cafe you like to visit. Okay, Sova.
Okay,
And you
Sova,
can
and
start
you can
speaking now,
start
please.
speaking now, please.
Mommy, action. Actually, cafe I love to go is the roadside cafe. Its name is Valentine, and it's nearby my home. It usually take around 15 minutes to go by our vehicles. I usually prefer to go to that cafe because it is very famous for the veg and the non-veg items, and it is also a used place, so that we can get connected with the lots of so that I can connect with the lots of my friends at the same place. It is especially famous for non-veg momos and the chow-meins. I usually the main thing of that cafe is uh, it serves fresh juice uh, with and without any cost. Uh, Actually, it's a cheap place, and it's also provide a good service. Um, that's it.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what you do there?
Once I have visited many more times, but when I reach there, I will love to to go to the place where I can found a actually it's a juice stall, which I like the most about that, because the juice is very fresh, and the person who sells the juice is a very jolly person.
Okay. Thank you, Sova.
Thank you, Sova.
Okay. Could I get you to... Oh, you already muted your microphone. Perfect. Just I was hearing myself back. Okay. So I can tell earlier on today, my advice for you, I was saying that you were pausing too much. You were pausing after a lot of words. And I can see you're reacting to that feedback. And you were not pausing after every word. So much better. But you're taking it too far to the other side. Whereas now you're... And this is a common mistake where students confuse fluency and speed. So I can see you're not pausing between the words, so you're doing that well, but you're also trying to speak faster so that there are no pauses. But there's a difference between pausing and speed. So you can speak slowly but still be fluent. It's when you pause between the words. Now, you were not pausing that much, but that's the difference. So you want to remove the pauses. You don't want to speak too quickly, because the speed that you're normally speaking at is absolutely fine. Obviously, you ran out of ideas towards the end, and that's related to the notes that you take. Did you make notes related to the cue card, or were you making notes based on what you were going to say when you finished the cue card?
I made related to the cue card.
So that's quite common. So focusing more on when you run out of things to say based on what the prompts in the cue card are, make notes on what will happen, what you will say after that. So that's a better approach, and you're less likely to run out of things to say. Some words you're using incorrectly. Without any cost, we just say free. That's not a phrase that we would normally use. I understand it perfectly, but that's not a phrase. And then you said, when I reach there, it should just be when I get there, rather than that. Sometimes when the word ends with an S sound, like S, you make an SH sound, sh. So for example, when you said place and when you said service, you ended with an SH sound. And it's not that you can't pronounce it, because you pronounce it correctly in other instances. But sometimes when the last sound of a word is an S, you pronounce it with an SH. So those are some things for you to work on. Any questions for me at the moment?
No, sir, I don't have any.
Okay. Talk to you next time.
Talk to you next time, so.
See you, Sova. Okay, so let me see what other questions or comments we have here. Chervin, good. Muazzam, hello to you. Welcome. Man, are you an IELTS examiner? Not anymore. I was, but now I am not. Audio is echoing. Yes, Maha, that's when I'm not 100% sure, but with some people, it seems like the sound is going from their speakers back into their microphone. I think that's what happened. That's what happens. That's why I asked Sova to mute for me. Real exam. They are very similar to what you will get in the real exam. Yep. So it's exactly what you can expect is that format. Saniza Malik. He must be linking to someone there. Hello, Malik. Okay, Maravik, welcome to the lesson. Good to see you here. Okay, Medhat, you ready to join me?
Yes.
Hello, Medhat. How are you doing? Welcome back. You're muted at the moment there. Okay. So you were here last week and we're doing part 2 today. Are you familiar with how part 2 works?
Yeah.
Do you have pen and paper ready to make notes?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so let me get your question here. Okay, here we go. Oh, excuse me. I would like you to describe a plan you have that is unrelated to work or study. Okay, Medet, and you can start speaking now, please.
Okay, actually, I'm going to visit the pyramids next week to see our monuments. As you know, Egypt has many monuments, and I am going to visit the pyramids to take my family there, and I also will invite some of my friends to go there. So I'll take my car and I will fully prepared to this as it's not near to my house, as it's in governorate called Giza near Cairo, the capital of Egypt. So I will go there to see our monuments and to tell my kids about our historical monuments and who built these pyramids and when it was built and some fantastic information about it. Uh, if I after finishing this visit, I'll be happy to make some of my family and some of my friends happy there.
Can you tell me some more about why you have made it?
I have made it to say I read a lot about monuments and I want to say this thing is in real life. And I also near the pyramids there is a statue called Sphinx. It's an
Thank you.
okay.
Okay, met that. Right. Are you
Thanks.
really going to the pyramids?
After 2 weeks, inshallah.
Oh, really? Okay, that was convenient. I've always wanted to go. There's actually if I've been just really interested in like Egypt and ancient Egypt since I was very young, and a friend of mine was living in Egypt, and he said he could see the pyramids out his bedroom window, and he
Yeah.
never went to visit. I couldn't believe it. I've wanted
Why?
to go for so long, and he wouldn't even go from as the short distance out. Anyway, um, in relation to your speaking, your pauses are the biggest issue. You're pausing. It's your fluency. You need to improve your fluency. Um, that is really the main area for you. But I feel like you're possibly working on your grammar or your vocab at the moment. Are you? It seems like you're very focused on either grammar or vocab. I might be wrong, and tell me if I'm wrong because that would change the advice. But it feels like you're focusing on accuracy more so than fluency at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I focus on grammar more.
yeah. That's that's fine. That's fine. Your fluency is not going to be perfect when you're trying to focus on grammar. So while you're working on grammar, it's normal for fluency to be not as good as normal. But just continue working on grammar for now, and once you get more comfortable with the grammar, then come back and work on the fluency. So don't worry about fluency. You've actually got a nice. There's a lot of accuracy with your grammar. Um, just in relation to your answer, you said that you were going to tell your kid about some fantastic information, and I was expecting you to tell me some of that information as well, but then you just moved on to another thing. So part of your answer is like coherence and cohesion. So when you introduce a topic and then ignore it, that that's not very logically organized. So I would say either tell me one or two fantastic things or just don't mention it. Um, you could work on articles as well. You made a few mistakes with articles. And one small, but two pronunciation things. One, you pronounce th like a z. So when you say the, you say ze, which once I realized was okay, I could understand it. Um, and then with the word pyramids, you stressed mids, but you need to stress the first syllable, p, pyramids, like that.
Yeah.
Pyramids. You need to stress the first one. So I wasn't the first time you mentioned it. I wasn't sure what you said, but then after you talked about it again, I was able to understand. But just on the first instance, because you said the with a Z, and then you said pyramids with the wrong word stress, that was a bit confusing. Yep. So my main advice for now: stay focusing on grammar if that's what you're doing, and once you're finished with that, you can give fluency a go. All right.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you too. Okay, let's see what other comments we have. When they are entering to the studio, they should mute the YouTube and Facebook videos audio. Thank you. I did not know that. Malik, that's not nice. You should grow up a little bit. No need to be mean. Hi, Hamid. Good to see you here. Yep. So if you want to join me, Hamid, I'm not. I don't need. You don't need to be invited. You just click on. Where am I? Scroll up to the top, and you see this link to join me live. So click on that link, and you'll be able to join me here. Okay. I have Saru in the studio. Saru, you ready? Get you in here. Hi, Saru.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Doing very well. You got up good and early again today?
Yeah, yeah,
Good.
but that's why my voice is a little different. I just wake up.
Okay. Good. All right. So actually, let me just get the question ready. Do you have pen and paper ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. And here's your question. I'd like you to talk about an article you've read about health.
Mm.
Okay, Suru, and you can start speaking now, please.
So, few days back, I got a call from my friend that she is having a thyroid problem, and she checked up her thyroid level, and it shows that her TSS level is very low. So she is diagnosed with a hypothyroidism, and uh, taking about that concern, I try to read about the articles related to the hypothyroidism. It is, and I read it in a web-made website where the different symptoms and diagnosis and many treatment plan and the causes are discussed in those articles. So I really want to know about all those things. So what the person with the hypothyroidism mainly have the low symptoms, very they feel really low, depressed, and um, many other information were given along with the pictures over there. So that I can really understand those informations and recommend this website to other. And I also read about the food that are very useful for the people diagnosed with those problems, and I thoroughly read all those articles, explain to my friend because I have always a habit of reading any health problems my friends or my relatives really go through, so that I can get an information about all those things and can explain to my friends and my family members when they are in need. So and also those website has also many others health related articles, and it is mainly very
Okay,
important and
thanks, Carol.
beneficial for. Did you say to stop?
I did, yeah. Sorry, I'm just making another note here. Okay. All right. And the vocab was great. What do you do?
I'm a health person, so
Uh, this I see this a lot. You get a topic that you're
yeah,
familiar with or um, related to your own career, and the vocab is just always on point.
yeah,
And that does happen. I mean, that as well can happen in the real IELTS test, where you know you get a topic about health, suddenly you're able to get a much better score.
yeah,
And the opposite is also true. You get a topic you're not familiar with, and that can hurt your speaking
yeah,
score. So yeah, that does play a factor. Um, that's the only real element of luck involved in the test. Is if you get a topic that, such as you did right there, that can really help your score. Based on that, that was really good. Fluency was great. Vocab was obviously very good. Let me just point out a few mistakes for you here. You said I tried to read about articles. So you'd read about the topic, or you would read the articles. So we don't need about in that sentence.
Okay.
And
So
then you
I need
said
to say I read about the topic, right?
exactly, yeah. You said understand those informations. We understand that information. 'Cause information is uncountable.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. So understand that information. And then you use those incorrectly again. Were you talking about one website or more than one website?
One webmate.
Okay. So you said those website also say, so it should be
Yeah.
again
Oh yeah.
that website. So 2 mistakes with those, but I think the first one was more a mistake with information being uncountable. Okay, 2 more small things. When you said she, you said it with an S sound instead of an SH sound. So you said C instead of she.
Okay. She.
Yeah. You normally say it correctly, but just a small slip today.
Yeah.
And then your pronunciation of thoroughly, you're using the incorrect word stress. So it's thoroughly, not, I think you stressed like maybe the second syllable, but it should be the first. Do you
Yeah.
want to try it for
I
me?
said thoroughly. I should say
That's right.
thoroughly. Yeah.
Thoroughly.
Okay.
Yeah. So stress the first. Any questions for me about
Yeah.
any of that?
I think I'm still struggling on grammar. I don't know how to overcome that.
Um, well, the main thing, I didn't notice grammar being a big issue today, to be very honest.
Maybe the topic is familiar, or I think.
But that would be more vocab. You know, you're still going to make the same grammar mistakes regardless of the topic. The main thing with grammar is make sure you can do it right in writing first.
Okay.
You know, take that step. If you're getting it wrong in writing, the fact that you have to do it instantly in speaking is more of a challenge. So make sure you at least know how to use it accurately. And if you can produce it in your writing, you know it, and then introduce it into your speaking. But also be aware, like we said with Medhat, is when you're working on your grammar, your fluency is going to be much lower than normal as well. So just be aware that you'll have to think very consciously about
Yeah.
each item.
Even yeah, I realized that because when you start thinking about the grammar, then the pause will develop. I have
Mhm.
realized that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's why you need to improve it before test day. So like when you're in the test, you shouldn't be thinking like, okay, I need to be very careful with my articles, because that's actually going to end up with a lower score. Your fluency will suffer. So you need to make all those improvements before the test. And then when you're in the test, the main focus is just communication. And whatever grammar mistakes you make for whatever level you're at, you're going to make whatever mistakes you make. But you can really drag down your fluency score if you're trying to just get every piece of grammar right. It doesn't work out very well. So that's something to keep in mind.
So, and I'm planning to give my sorry, I'm planning to give my exam on January 8th. So I don't know I'll make up to that time or not. Wait.
We'll see. We have a mock speaking test next week as well, don't we?
Yeah,
A
I
practice
think
speaking test
16th. No, I think
that's
Sunday. Sunday.
on Monday. Yeah. So I'll have more advice for you, and I'll have your scores and everything in that. But I would say for now, you could still stay working on, small little bits and pieces of grammar that we pointed out previously, and yeah, you wouldn't want to take on too much. You don't want to go and try and improve your vocab or anything in a short period of time like that. So focusing more on fluency and grammar would be best.
Okay.
All right. Talk to you next time.
Okay.
See you,
Thank you,
Sarah.
sir.
No problem. Okay. So if nobody left in here with me at the moment, let me just share this link with you again. Link to join me live. And there it is. So Hamid, you should be able to see that right underneath your own comment. It's directly underneath yours right now. Okay. Maha has just joined me. Hey, Maha.
Hi sir, how are you doing?
Doing well. Good to see you again.
Yeah. So, I've been on my office trip, so I was not able to attend these online classes for the last 2 weeks. That's
Yeah,
the
I haven't seen
reason.
you in a while. Well,
Yes,
welcome back
yes.
anyway.
Thank you. I can't see you. I don't know why.
You cannot see me.
Yeah, I can see only the blank screen.
I'm not sure what that's about. Let me. How's that?
It's loading right now.
Okay. Do you have pen and paper ready there?
Yes, I have my
Or,
pen and paper ready with me.
okay. Maha, can you just remind me what score you need and when your test is?
I need a band 7 in speaking, and I'm planning to give my test in the last week of January.
Okay, so another bit of time left. Okay, so let me get your question here. All right, here we go. I'd like you to describe a time you helped a stranger. Okay, Maha, you can start speaking now, please.
Uh, well, I'd like to talk about a situation where I helped a stranger who is a beggar, and he was trying to get into a train, and he's blind as well. So he was using that stick and trying to get into the train, but he was not able to get near to the door, and it happened like when I was studying my professional degree. I was doing my MBA when I was traveling then that time. So I was sitting in the railway station and waiting for my train, and I have seen that person. He was trying to get into the train, but he was not able to get near to the train since he was blind. And I thought that the train may move a little bit earlier because the time is up for the train to go. And finally I decided to help him, and I went to him and I asked him whether he's trying to get into the train, or he wanted to go out of the platform or something like that. Then he said he wanted to go into the train, so I helped him and I grabbed his hand and I directed him to the door of that coach of the train. So I went into the coach and I made him to sit where nobody is there. In India, like there are general coaches where you don't need a reservation to get into the train. If you have a general ticket, that is more than enough. So I went inside and I made him to sit there. And since I have a word with him, like I never had an close encounter with people like them, so I felt like I felt like I need to have a word with them. So that time I had a word with, and he was explaining all those
Okay,
things what happened to
thank you.
him. And
Okay, thanks, Maha. I think that was a good answer. Very well developed, very fluent. It's very logically progressed from one point to the next. At the beginning, you said you said beggar
Beggar,
instead of.
yes. He
Oh,
was beggar
uh,
and blind as well.
okay. Because it, I wasn't sure. First, you said he was a beggar, but you didn't say he was blind.
Yes, yes.
So I didn't understand what was happening for a while. And then you said he had
Okay.
a stick. So then I was guessing maybe you meant to say blind instead of beggar. And then later on you said he was blind, so you confirmed it. So I was a little bit confused. You were talking about a guy being blind, but you didn't say that he was blind. So that would have been a fairly important piece of information.
Yes.
And just in relation to your fluency and coherence score, the fact that I was trying to piece it together and then I was right because you said blind, and then I was like, okay, now I understand everything. But it was after a while before I did understand. So just make sure that you know that that critical piece of information is communicated.
Sure.
Um, when you say to have a word with someone, it's normally very formal situation, and it's more often somebody is in trouble. Can I have a word? It's like I got some I got a complaint. I got something to say to you. So that the phrase is in more in the context of there's a problem. Can I have a word? You've done something wrong. I want to talk to you about it. Normally under that kind of context.
Understood.
Yeah. Not always, but definitely it's very formal. But very often it would be used in that context. And then you said, I made him to sit there. Should be, I helped him to sit there.
Yes, yes.
So I helped instead of I made. So these are just
Yeah.
small vocab items. In general, you did a really good job of communicating clearly with a nice range and with a good level of accuracy. For you, the main thing I would like you to focus on is actually your use, your pronunciation, and especially your sentence stress. So there are two things you do. You don't really stress the right word. What you do is you pause and you go up with the intonation. So just one thing you said I was sitting in the railway station. Okay. And instead of the stress, instead of like a kind of a little bit slower and more emphasis, you tend to go a pause at the end and then the intonation going up. So where it should be, I was sitting at the railway station, you said I was sitting. No, the intonation more. You say I was sitting at the railway station. So you're you're kind of stressing the correct. You're what you're where you're stressing is correct. The way you're stressing is incorrect.
Okay.
So what you're doing is you're kind of combining a pause with the intonation going up instead of more emphasis on the word. So definitely sentence stress would be the main thing I'd like you to work on. And then that one mistake about not saying the man was blind, which was, an important part of this, an important piece
Yes,
of
yes.
information. But that's a small mistake. It doesn't mean that you make that mistake every time, but it just was a little bit confusing for me there. Okay. Any questions for me at the moment, Maha?
Yes, I have a question. Sir, did I go off topic because I have made some notes, but eventually I didn't speak about that notes. But whatever came to my mind, I spoke about that one.
No, no, no. It was perfect. It was perfect because it was completely logical. You started outside the train, meeting the person, how you helped them, inside the train, wanting to speak to them after you helped them to sit down. It's like perfect progression. Absolutely. No, there's absolutely no problem there whatsoever. That was absolutely fine for sure.
Yes,
All
thank
right.
you. Yeah,
Good to see you again, Mahat. Take care of yourself.
thank you. Yeah, thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Okay. Let's see here. Saru. If part 2 question is about sport you have done in a team, and part 3 question like qualities you can learn in team leaders, importance in team, etc., does part 3 answer should also be related? No, it doesn't have to be related to sport. So they're just loosely connected by theme, but you'll still take the individual question as it's phrased. So if they said specifically, talk about leaders in sport, you must. But if they just talk about leaders in general, you wouldn't have to know. So you can take each question as it comes. You don't need to consider the context of the previous questions. So it's just a loose theme that's used. It doesn't dictate how you would answer the question. So as long as you're directly answering the specific question, that is completely fine. Thank you. Yes. Excellent. Good job. What scores did you get? Tell me more. Good news. Well done, Dadula. And I have Hamid here with me. Hamid, are you ready to join? Let's get you in here. Hi, Hamid.
Hello.
Nice to
How are
meet you.
you?
Very good, thank
Nice
you.
to meet you
Nice
too.
to finally say hello to you. So, are you familiar with how Speaking Part 2 works, Hamid?
Yes, I'm familiar to that.
Okay, excellent. So, do you have your pen and paper ready?
Yes.
Okay, go grab your pen and paper there. And then I'll show you the question. So you have 1 minute to make notes, and then you'll need to speak for 2 minutes.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready. Yes. Please show me the question.
I'll show it to you right now. Hamid, I'd like you to describe a time you bought something from an outdoor market.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay, Hamid, and you can start speaking now, please.
First of all, when I transferred to New Street and I have an apartment and overlook to Hypermarket, and I go outdoor market for buying some things for my home, and a certain group of people goes there for buying several things, because I think this market is very beautiful and spacious, and not cramped markets such as some small market. Is very large and big, and I felt respectful of the employee of there, and sort of the products we can find there. My purpose is all of the street population, and I first time I saw this market 2 years ago, and I out of the blue understood some of products maybe more discount, and I prefer to buy something for sale from this market. And even though this market is near, but sometimes for some only for diversity, I go to another market out a little more distance. Do you know? Because for entertainment is good for people to buy from several markets, not only one market. It's good for due to psychologists behavior of people, because
thank you, Hamid.
yes, thank you very much.
Okay. So you've got you've got some actually really nice range of vocabulary. But it feels like your vocabulary level is higher than everything else. So I'm guessing, but would you be much better at writing in English than you are at speaking in English?
Yes, my writing is better because
Yeah.
I took some tests from Iran Ministry of Science, and for example, my writing was 4.5 out of 6.
Okay. And were you marked for your speaking?
Unfortunately, this exam without speaking.
Okay. I can see just your ability to communicate, the range of vocabulary. It just seems like I just had a feeling like your knowledge of English is better than your ability to speak in English. So there are some areas that you need to work on. I would say fluency, really, because you were saying earlier, we were speaking earlier today, you said you want a band 7. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So
Band 7 is mandatory for something.
right. So really, you will need to improve somewhat in all areas. And I would just recommend that you just focus on us. If you focus on everything at the same time, it will slow you down. So I think starting with fluency would be a good place for you, because you have
Yes.
you have the vocabulary, you can communicate. It just takes some time for the vocabulary to to surface, to come to mind. So I would really say focusing on fluency for a while first would be the best thing for you. You do need to improve your vocab, you do need to improve your grammar and your pronunciation, but I think working on fluency first, just to get a little bit more comfortable with uh, the ideas coming to mind and the vocab coming to mind, and then you'll have a better idea of whether you need to improve vocab or grammar, what areas to focus on. But at the moment, I can just see it's taking too much time for the vocab to come up, for you to think of the vocab you need. But besides that, I mean, you're communicating very, very clearly, so you're doing, I think it'll take some time for the transition from your ability in writing to become apparent in your speaking. But work on fluency, practice speaking as much as you can. I have strategies for improving fluency without having a speaking partner, so that might be suitable for you as well. Do you have any questions for me at the moment, Hamid?
If you were an examiner, would you please give me my score, my band score?
I wouldn't
But
be
no.
able to say. I wouldn't be able to say exactly, but I can confidently say that you're not near a 7 yet.
Thank you. You are so kind. But I am thankful. Don't worry. Please give me sharp and to be frank. For example, you can give me a score. Maybe I try more. I get
understand
why
what you're saying. I cannot give you an exact score, but it will take you
approximately.
it will take you a lot of work. Approximately, I would say probably 5.5, maybe 6, approximately, somewhere around there. I cannot say for sure. I'd need more time. We'd need to do a full practice speaking test. But you do have the ability to communicate, which means you have a good foundation in English. So it won't necessarily take as long as if you were starting from scratch, but you do have a lot of work to do, unfortunately.
Thank you for taking time to appraise my.
You're very welcome. It was lovely speaking to you too as well, after messaging you earlier today. So we'll see you here again.
It's my pleasure. I'm greatly honored. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Hamid. Take care of yourself. Okay, so let's see what we have here. To do the 6.5, 6.5. Nice. Good job on your first try. Well done. Got the scores you need. That's great. And thanks for letting me know. Varsha, you're amazing. Good. That's what we're here for. Good. Thank you very much. You're very welcome to do that. And is there an opportunity to talk with you, please, Abdul? Yes, I have time for one more. If you want to join, we can get one more done. Just click on this link. So go to the comments. You're in Facebook. You'll see it there as well. This one here. So it just says link to join me live. Click on the link. And if you get in here soon, we'll have time for another one. So, yeah, come on in. Everyone's full of praises today. Thanks. Thank you very much. Thanks, Carmel. Big B, should I use vocabulary and grammar but lose my fluency? No. No. I'd have to hear you speaking, Big B. I can't confidently say, but like, how bad is your fluency going to be if you do that? And how good is your vocab and grammar going to be if you do that? Like in general, generally my advice would be just focus on clear communication. Like if you needed to improve your grammar, it's going to be difficult to get a much higher score than you're capable of, and you're more likely to do a lot of damage to your fluency with that approach. No, I would say in general, no, that wouldn't be the case. Like there have been very rare occasions where I've given that advice to students, but it's very, very rarely. And it would be where like essentially they have perfect grammar and vocab, like excellent, like native English speaker level grammar and vocab, but you know, they might get a band 7 in fluency instead of a band 8 in fluency. So you like very rare occasion I would recommend that. So in general, no, Big B. In general, no, I wouldn't. That was a long answer. I got there in the end. No, there. Final answer. Hi, Usama. I'm doing very well. Thank you. Hopefully you're doing well. Thanks, Amit. Okay, so that's pretty much all we have time for. Abul, if you want to jump in quickly, I can definitely give you one round, but I don't see you here at the moment, so we'll probably just finish up. Tomorrow, I have a lucky draw for a free full practice IELTS speaking test. So I have that service. It's a one-on-one service I offer, but also I have a lucky draw tomorrow because I am going to be taking 2 weeks off for Christmas. I'm going to take the last 2 weeks of December off. I'm going to select 2 winners for that lucky draw tomorrow. So for that IELTS speaking lucky draw, enter your name into that if you haven't already. You'll find it either on YouTube if you go to the community tab on my YouTube channel, or if you just scroll down a small bit on my Facebook page, you'll see it there as well. So all you have to do is just put your name in a comment underneath that post. And like I said, I'll be drawing 2 people for that. I'll draw 2 winners for that tomorrow. I also have the IELTS Writing Task 2 competition. If you haven't entered that already, you can enter that before the end of today. I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow based on that. And then if you do want to have a full practice IELTS speaking test with me, I'll be able to give you all your scores. I'll be able to give you detailed feedback on each part of the test. So you can access that here. And I also have those free live feedback lessons as well. Okay. Hey, Princess. Okay, I'm after losing my place here. Very soon, I'll join with you for testing my English speaking skill. Excellent. Good. Be good to have you here, and I'll be happy to help you. Camrul, sir, your speaking skills are very good. Thank you. You will teach me a little bit of speaking. Yes, absolutely. And Camrul as well, if you scroll up to the very first comment, first or second comment in this live stream, I shared some IELTS speaking test lessons with you there as well. So make sure that you complete those so that you know what to do in the test, how to improve your scores, and basically everything related to the IELTS speaking test. Hamid, practice makes perfect. Absolutely, I agree 100%, except when it comes to IELTS reading and IELTS listening, because what I see students doing is doing lots and lots and lots of practice tests, but not taking action on their mistakes. So when I hear practice makes perfect, it makes me a bit worried when it comes to IELTS reading and IELTS listening. Practice will show you your mistakes, but you need to fix those mistakes. So yes, I agree. In general, that is definitely true. Hey, Maravik, you're very welcome. Okay, so Abul is here with me. So we'll do one more. Didula, I am from Ireland. From Ireland, I'm Irish. Ian, not sure what that means. Okay, so let's do one more. We'll get Abul in here and then we'll finish up for today. Okay, Abul, hi there.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Doing good, doing good. How do you say your name?
My name is Abul Bashar, but my
Abul.
nickname is Bashar, so you can call me Bashar.
Okay, go with Bashar. Fine. Where are you from,
Yeah,
Bashar?
yeah, yeah. I am from Bangladesh,
Bangladesh.
but right now I'm staying in a city of Bangladesh, and its name is Rangpur.
Very good.
Yeah,
Bashar,
yeah.
what score do you need? What score do
Oh,
you need in speaking?
sorry to say that I have not participated any IELTS examination, but I
No
try
problem.
with myself, and sometimes I make video when I talk in English, and then I watch it again. In that way, I try to improve my English speaking.
That's helpful, but it depends what you're watching for. So if you're trying to improve your fluency, you can watch
Yeah,
the
yeah.
video and see how often did you pause, and you can measure, is your fluency getting better? If it's grammar, you can really only help yourself if you already know the grammar. So if you're making a mistake in something you know, or if you're trying to find pronunciation mistakes that you're making, so just listening to the recording won't help. You should be trying to find specific mistakes to help you improve. So it does help, but you need to be focused on why you're doing it. Do you know what score you
Yeah.
need, Bashar?
Uh, I think the score is the criteria to measure our quality, what we have done in the examination. But I think the most important matter is to do better. Like when I talk
Okay.
with you, if you can understand, or if I be able to make you understand what I say, that's the
Understand everything.
yeah, that is the more effective, I think. But you will be maybe I have seen many people that they have get better score in the IELTS examination, but when they are asked to say something, they feel in a but why is it happening? I doesn't know. Sorry, maybe the connection, internet connection is very poor here.
Just a little bit there. I missed towards the end. But most people who come here, they need the IELTS test for, they need to apply for a visa, they need to apply to a university, they have some reason for doing the IELTS test. But do you have any particular reason or any purpose for an IELTS test?
Yeah, you will be happy to know that recently I have completed my BBA graduation under Accounting and Information Systems Department. But right now
Nice.
I'm doing MBA graduation from the same background, and
Yeah.
my aim is to get my aim is to start my career in a corporate level. So to sustain in this field, I need to do better in English.
So you don't necessarily need the IELTS test, just just to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
improve your
maybe.
English in general. Okay, I get
But
it.
uh, maybe your name is Lar Rian, am I right?
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan. Oh,
Yeah.
so if I get any chance, at first I want to say you that actually my financial position is very poor. Financial position is very poor, so I need to
Okay, sorry, Bashar, your internet is gone again there. So I think like having a goal to improve your English is very, very admirable. And, you know, if it's going to further your career, that's a great idea. But in general, I would not recommend studying for the IELTS test if you don't need an IELTS test. And same for anybody. I mean, it's a big challenge. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy. It's exhausting. It takes an incredible amount of motivation and focus. And honestly, I just think if you don't need the IELTS test, there are better things that you can do with your time and energy. So not just to Bashar, but anybody here, is if you don't need it, honestly, I'd say don't do it. You know, do something. Learn to play a piano, learn to play the guitar, something you enjoy, or, you know, do a master's degree to further your career, or spend more time with your family, or, you know, and if it's in particular you want to improve your English, by all means study English, but I wouldn't do the IELTS test as a means of improving your English. Of course, you need to do your IELTS test. You will very likely need to improve some aspect of your English, but it's not the best way, because you're learning all the IELTS skills. If you're learning all the IELTS skills, then that's time you could have spent, you know, improving your English. So if anything, it would slow down your English improvement. So I wouldn't really recommend going down that road of studying IELTS with the purpose of improving your overall English level. Okay, so that's all we have time for here today. Does anybody else have any questions? Just looking at the comments here. Dula, Ireland is nice. It is. Yeah, it is. It is nice when it's when it gets a bit drier. Lovely countryside there. I'm from Bahutin. I'm afraid I've never heard of that. Apologies. From Sri Lanka. Lovely country. Lovely country. I spent a small amount of time down the south side of Sri Lanka at one point. Lovely place. Okay, so let's finish it up there for today. Thank you for joining. And like I said, join up for that speaking test. Lucky draw tomorrow. Enter the competition for the IELTS writing test. And I will be back early tomorrow with the winner of the IELTS writing test competition. And I will share the winners of the lucky draw as well. Then on Thursday, I have a task 2 live stream. Then, like I said, next week and the following week, I'm going to take a break, a little break for Christmas for myself. Okay, so talk to you all in the next live stream, or see you online at some point. See you in the live feedback lessons. If you're joining me there, I have task 1 tomorrow and task 2 on Friday. See you at that, and bye-bye to everyone else. Take care of yourselves. Bye, everyone.